My name's Jack. I'm the founder of Fit Coach, and in today's session, we are going to look at how to rebuild your physique after 30. And if you're watching this, it's because you are over the age of 30 and you've tried different training programs, different nutrition strategies, and you'll begin to realize that what used to work for you when you were in your mid 20s doesn't actually work for you anymore. And this session is about strategizing around specifically how you can improve your health, your hormones, and actually fix what's going on internally so that externally, not only do you look good, but you feel good and you perform to the highest standard possible. Not only are you going to lose body fat and build muscle, but you're going to fix the mechanisms which dictate how you feel and how you operate on a day-to-day basis. So if you are over 30 and you have stubborn belly fat, fat that sits at the bottom of your belly, no matter what you've tried, you are just unable to shift that final bit of stubborn belly fat, specifically what we call subcutaneous fat. If you take two fingers, you pinch on your stomach, you pull away that skin, there's a little bit of fat. Too much fat detrimental to our health, and that's why we see a close association between obesity, high BMI, and even type 2 diabetes mellitus, as well as long-term health complications associated with stubborn belly fat, such as cardiovascular disease, stroke, heart attack, angina. If you are over 30 and dieting just doesn't work like it used to, where you're in a calorie deficit, you're probably eating around 2,000 calories every single day, a good amount of protein, you're hitting your steps, you're doing your cardio, but you just can't seem to shift that stubborn belly fat, it usually comes down to strategy and fixing what's going on internally. If your strength is dropping, you are seeing a noticeable decline in your strength inside the gym. What you used to lift in your mid-20s, you are now unable to lift in your 30s. And it's not uncommon. Again, it usually comes down to fixing the internal mechanism so that your output and what you do externally actually yields a result. And then finally, your body feels slower. Perhaps you've got brain fog, low energy, lethargy. You're tired, you're fatigued. Understand that you are not broken. You are malnourished. What you're actually feeding your body and the strategy behind that is what's affecting whether you have stubborn belly fat or your strength is dropping, or on a day-to-day basis, you begin to feel that little bit slower. And it's not because you've got kids or perhaps you've got a mortgage to pay or you're working 9 to 5. Once again, it usually comes down to two things: strategy and structure. So the biggest mistakes most men and women make when they're trying to lose stubborn belly fat is that they start to eat less. They slash their calories super low. And to be honest, your metabolism will start to slow down. They start to get weaker. So they see a noticeable decline in strength, but also they're starting to see visible changes in their body composition, perhaps a loss in muscle, which is a direct correlation between lower strength. And finally, they do more cardio. They think that by doing more cardio, more steps, less food, they're going to be able to shift that final bit of stubborn belly fat. And I'm here to tell you that is the wrong way to go about it, because your body will be in a survival state. It will be in a fight or flight state. And unless you fix what's going on internally from a gut health and also a hormonal standpoint, you will not be able to shift those final few pounds. So after 30, fat loss isn't about restriction. or punishment. I'm not here to tell you that you need to remove all of the food and drink to be able to lose that final bit of stubborn belly fat. In fact, it's about restoring your body and getting the right nutrients, the essential vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, which the little workers inside of your body, which dictate how you feel and how you operate on a day-to-day basis. This is what I label as paying them dividends. So if you are late when it comes to paying them, i.e., you're not eating enough food, or you're not eating the correct amount of food or the right quality of food, well, these little workers are not going to operate at sort of the level that you want to be able to. So what we want to do is actually fix that. And we want to start losing stubborn belly fat. We want to start building a lean, strong body. And we want to have more energy on a day-to-day basis. And this comes down to fixing your gut health and your hormones so that you can lose that stubborn belly fat seamlessly and build muscle. Understand that these little workers need to be paid on a regular basis. So, of course, if you're paying them in sugary, refined carbohydrates, or perhaps processed foods, drinks, cakes, biscuits, chocolates, sweets, and you're not giving them the essential micronutrients which they need, I'm afraid to say you will plateau and you will stay exactly the same. So you need to fix what's going on internally. So I want you to see this as an opportunity to stop dieting. I think the term dieting is often thrown around. For example, I'm going on a diet. Going on a diet doesn't mean just following a macronutrient or calorie tailored plan where you're told to hit a certain amount of protein, carbohydrate, and fat every single day, or perhaps a certain number of calories. We all know that it's 3,500 calories to lose roughly 0.5 kilos every single week. And for some people, it might be a little bit more based on your metabolism and also based on your genetic predisposition. But I want you to take this opportunity to start rebuilding. Rebuilding involves fixing your nutrition, fixing what's going on internally, and then your body composition will follow. And I know this very, very well because on the left-hand side, I was over 110 kilos. You can see the bags in my eyes, the lack of sleep, the lethargy, the brain fog, the stubborn belly fat, which sat at the bottom of my belly. I wasn't operating at the capacity that I know that I could have been. And no matter what I tried, different types of diet, ketogenic, carnivore, Mediterranean, it just didn't seem to shift what was going on internally, because I actually did manage to lose a significant amount of body fat, over 33 kilos. But I didn't fix what was going on internally. And I was still experiencing low levels of energy. So instead of pulling all of the food and drink that I enjoyed, instead of slashing calories and doing hours of cardio every single day just to shift that stubborn belly fat, my approach changed. I came away from a 90% sugar diet. Can you believe that I used to survive on liquid calories? I used to work in the National Health Service 12 plus hours a day as a biomedical scientist and a diabetes lecturer, where I would actually teach my patients how to lower their blood glucose levels and lose that stubborn belly fat. But I wasn't following my own advice and in the footsteps that I should have been. And that's why I was overweight. and I was experiencing all of those symptoms associated with high visceral fat, low hormonal profiles, and high subcutaneous fat. So once I completely cut added sugar out of my diet and I started to rebuild what was going on internally or externally, I got into the best shape of my life. I feel more fulfilled. I have more energy on a day-to-day basis. And it's because I fixed my diet. And we actually build physiques inside Fit Coach using a peak human diet. This is built on 42 essential nutrients. So you might have seen on social media or perhaps any sort of forum that you are following advice on, in order to lose body fat or to lose weight, you just need to be in a calorie deficit. That's absolutely true. And it's definitely a method that I followed for a period of time. But it doesn't fix what's going on internally. And that's why for most people, their cravings rocket sky high post weight loss or post fat loss, and they end up going in a yo-yo cycle. Once I completely cut out sugar and I started to refine my diet, including these 42 essential nutrients by eating real food, not processed food, not refined carbohydrates, my energy, my confidence, my physique, it skyrocketed. And for nearly all of our clients who have implemented this exact diet, they've experienced the same results. So what are the 42 essential nutrients? We have 14 essential vitamins, 16 essential minerals, 9 essential amino acids. Now, you could argue that there are 12 essential amino acids, but generally speaking, there are 11 to 9 ratio. We've got essential and non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids we have to get through our diet because our body just cannot synthesize it in the body without that food. 2 essential fatty acids, and then 1 dietary fiber to pay our little workers, our gut microbiome, to digest, process, and metabolize that food and drink. I want you to think of your body as a business, and that business is responsible for shipping packages worldwide. I want you to imagine that you've ordered online, whether it's Amazon or whether it's from your favorite clothing company. Essentially, what we're doing is we are packaging up those nutrients into their boxes and distributing it across the body, left, right, and center, from the top of your head all the way down to your big toe. That is the goal, to make sure that there are no strikes or delays in the delivery of those packages. And when you fix your diet, that system works seamlessly and you have optimized your health, your hormones, and your lifestyle by eating real foods, because those little workers, well, they're getting paid the dividends that they want. So to break them down, for the 14 vitamins, we've got vitamin C, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, and B12. We've got fat soluble vitamins, which means we need to consume dietary fat to be able to transport them in the body. Vitamin A, D, E, and K, and then choline as well. For minerals, we've got calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, sulfur. And then we've got some trace minerals there as well: iron, zinc, iodine, selenium, copper, manganese, fluoride, chromium. I can't even pronounce that word. Molybdenum. Almost made a mistake there. Amino acids, we've got histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. I would actually say they are a bit of a tongue twister. Fatty acids, you might have heard of omega-3s, alpha linoleic acid, and then omega-6 linoleic acid. And we can get them through real foods like salmon, mackerel, sardines, instead of just opting for a little capsule instead of eating real food. And then digestion, we've got dietary fiber. whether it's soluble or insoluble. And what we do is we actually build out the peak human diet for you so that you are getting these essential nutrients in your diet and rebuilding your body from the ground up. So what happens when you start this diet? Your recovery improves. You start to pull down inflammation. You get stronger. You can speed up your recovery. Your muscles start to repair significantly faster and they become stronger so you can lift heavier weights in the gym or just operate at a higher capacity throughout the day. Your cravings drop. I remember I used to wake up every single morning and consume probably a liter of apple juice just to get my carbohydrates in because I was worried that my performance would drop if I didn't get those carbs in. How wrong I was. Insulin resistance started to kick in, and no wonder why I had that stubborn belly fat which sat at the bottom of my belly. Therefore, when cravings drop, hormones like ghrelin, which is a hunger hormone, I like to call it the gremlin, well, it's packaged up. It only comes out at specific periods when you actually need fuel in your body. And finally, you use that stubborn belly fat. You feel more confident, you have more energy, and you operate like a high performer every single day. Not only do you look good, but you feel good. Now, there are 5 variables to transform your body and physique, and it starts with your nutrition. Those essential micronutrients, which we just talked about. Then we move into training 3 to 4 days per week. Resistance training has helped break down a muscle. Your nutrition will help to repair that tissue and build new tissue. So of course, if we are getting those essential amino acids in your diet from real food, chicken, beef, pork, not only will you get stronger, but you'll look bigger, you'll look leaner. We then have steps. Steps will help with peristalsis, the involuntary contractions and movement of food throughout the gastrointestinal tract. It's also going to help to pull off inflammation as well and regulate other processes in the body and improve insulin sensitivity so that glucose transportation from that food that you've eaten goes efficiently from the blood into your cells. Any movement, any muscular contraction can increase it by 7 to 20 times more compared to resting conditions. We then have cardio. We want to improve your cardiovascular fitness. We want to make sure that internal mechanism, that delivery system is working at 100% capacity. We need to make sure that those connections across the body or those travel routes, there's no roadblocks. And then finally, water. Water is the foundation. It's going to help to lubricate your joints. It's going to facilitate digestion and cognition. But water doesn't just mean drinking water. It means fluids. It means getting those essential electrolytes from fruit, dragon fruit, blueberries, strawberries. Those that have seeds, but also those that are filled with rich vitamins, which your body and your muscles can soak up in order for you to improve your health and your physique. If you enjoyed this session today, make sure to like and subscribe. In the caption below, if you want to take your health and your physique to the next level and you want to follow our peak human diets and get into the best possible shape of your life, you can DM me the number 14 on Instagram at JapFitCoach, or you can book in a health diagnostic call to see if you're a good fit for our one-to-one coaching program to see if we can fix what's going on internally so that externally you are operating like a high performer.